Welcome back to the Senior Focus. Once again, I'm your host, Attorney Nick Colsa. I'm here with Senator Mike Moore. Senator Moore, a lot of people talk about the wars and, unbridled spending because of, the war effort. And I'm not saying I like war. I'm not saying I want war. I'm not saying I want to see the U.S. go to war. Truly, that's not my intention at all.
I don't think anyone wants the U.S. to go to war.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are some people in the military-industrial complex. That's how they make their money, right? But one fact that really, I guess for lack of a better phrase, like sticks in my craw. In 2010, the Obama administration spent $800 billion on welfare. Okay, 1 year, 2010, $800 billion. In 8 years of war in Iraq and Afghanistan, the Bush administration spent for its war effort $680 billion. So we've got $120 billion more in welfare spending in 2010.
But is that just welfare spending? Is that incorporating unemployment benefits or other types of federal assistance?
Even if it's entitlement spending, the mere fact that so many people will say, "Oh, it was the war effort that caused this runaway budget and spending." It's not true. I don't think that war is a good thing, and it's an expensive thing. And I agree. I think we have to be fiscally conservative and responsible and watch our spending in all areas, not one area or another, in all areas. When you see the amount of spending occurring on welfare programs and the stimulus programs, we don't have the money. I don't understand, maybe you can help me understand, what's this federal administration doing? There is money.
Well, you have to remember too is that with the Obama administration coming in, you also had a period where you had the previous administration that we implemented tax cuts across the board, plus so that brought in means less revenue coming in. Then you have, as you're just saying, $680 billion that now is increasing spending. Now, does that also include the interest on the debt that we're paying from that? Or?
Well, I don't know, but
the other thing I'm saying right now, so if you look at $800 billion that was spent on, it could be unemployment, it could be welfare, it could be whatever system. You've left an economy in a situation that I think everyone was saying the United States, but before President Obama came in office, we were shedding hundreds of thousands of jobs, which is something that he had to deal with when he came in. Now, I don't think everyone was happy with the circumstances that he was dealt. But
I would say, I guess, two things. $680 billion over 8 years, $800 billion in 1 year. I don't think that you need to delve much deeper than that. And let's take a look at the unemployment rates. I think the unemployment rates under Bush averaged around 5.4%, and I'm not suggesting that.
I think when President Obama took office,
7.8%.
7.8%.
But the average of the 8 years was 5.4%. And when January came and Obama took office, it was 7.8%. I think within a month or two, unemployment shot up to about 9%, was there for, I think, 25 consecutive months. Now it's fallen back down to 7.8%. I think that when you take a look at the totality of our fiscal problem, and not a Massachusetts problem, I think Massachusetts is doing a lot better than most of the states in the country. There's no doubt about that. The rest of the country, maybe they should take a look at what's going on in Massachusetts and try to implement the same kind of policies. When you take a look at the fiscal cliff, when they talk about billions of dollars and hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars, it's a difficult number to comprehend. I know that it's difficult for me. I don't understand. I mean, you hear the U.S. tax revenue is about $2,170 billion. Doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot to me. The federal budget is $3,820 billion. Again, okay, it's a number. I'm not really quite, it doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot to me. New debt, that's $1,650 billion. National debt, right now, the national debt today is $16,400 billion. It wasn't even at $16 trillion when the conventions took place. It had just reached $16 trillion when the Republican convention began. So the mere fact it goes from 16 trillion to 16.4 trillion in like 2 or 3 months, I find particularly alarming. I'm not an economist and I'm not a mathematician, but when you take a look at the rate of increase in the national debt in like 2-3 months time, very, very alarming. Reasons.
I agree.
Right.
This is alarming, and we've got to curb it. But I think what's been and we've got to move forward. We have to look how we resolve the issue. But I think what people have to look at also too is the fact that we have to look at what caused this. And it wasn't necessarily, I think, over the last campaign, and I think the election cycle, I should say, and I think the voters realized that you can't put all the blame on an administration that was dealt a hand.
Right.
That it was any president coming in, I think, would within a month wouldn't be able to curb an unemployment increase from 7.8% to 9.2.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. We need to look forward. We need to be able to look back at the policies that were implemented. And again, whether it's a Democrat, a Republican, a Libertarian, Tea Party, I mean, I don't really particularly care what titles are associated.
I agree.
Look at the people and decide, and look at what they're doing, and make a decision on that.
Democrat, Republican, the bottom line is we've got a government that's structured on, yes, you've got your issues that you want to advocate for, push forward, but you got to realize at some point there's compromise. To obtain that final goal, you may have to compromise because someone else has a goal that they want to achieve. So it's electing people who are going to be able who can sit across the table.
I agree.
And have a conversation and say,
agree.
okay, you want to get to here, I want to get to here. This is how we get to both those.
I agree. The compromises that they're reaching, I find a little bit, I don't know if I want to call it disingenuous, disheartening. In any event, I'm told we have to head to a break right now. When we come back, I want to try to make the people understand the numbers that we're talking about when we talk about the fiscal cliff.